me. So something I wanted to make a video about was talk about PGTA testing and IVF. So PGTA testing is essentially when they test that the embryo or, the part of the embryo that's going to become the placenta to see if it has the correct number of chromosomes. And, even from the beginning, they said that the evidence only states that it will not make you have more live births. It will just, get you to that place quicker, right? So what that means is if you don't test your embryos, maybe you'll transfer an embryo that's not compatible with life. So you have chemical pregnancy or you end up having a miscarriage. And those types of things can delay your next transfer. So PGTA is a tool that people can use. It's not offered all over the world, but it definitely is in the United States for a fee. And usually insurance doesn't cover it, and unless you have something genetic, which usually I think they do PGT-M for that, which is a different test to make sure that you're not passing down certain, diseases or things like that run in families. And so for us, I definitely wanted to test the embryos previously when we did IVF. So far, we've done 3 egg retrievals. The first egg retrieval did not give us any embryos. We couldn't even test any because we didn't get any. That was super heartbreaking. It's a story for another time, but then the next 2 times we did get some embryos. We were able to test them. And the first round that we got embryos, so our second egg retrieval, we got 5 embryos, and 3 were PGTA normal, is what they call it, or euploid. And then 2 of them were high-level mosaics. So there's 4 different categories that the testing can result in. One is euploid, which means that there's the correct number of chromosomes in the sample that is tested. Another is aneuploid, which there are not the correct number of chromosomes. Now, mosaics are whenever there are, a certain percentage that are normal and a certain percentage that are not normal. So a high-level mosaic is mostly not normal. A low-level mosaic is mostly abnormal. So because of that, and then the fourth is whenever the testing results in unconclusive, non-conclusive, which I hear is usually due to a lab error, that they didn't get a good enough sample or not enough or something like that. So those are the results that you can get. They say high-level mosaics are not compatible with life. There is a lot of debate in this area. A lot of it the research is very new still. So there's a lot of debate on PGTA testing. Some people are all for it. Some people really aren't because they think that because the research is in its infancy, you could possibly be discarding embryos that could turn into healthy babies. And, but with high-level mosaics, it's extremely unlikely. It's all based on statistics and percentages of what's compatible with life and what's not, and what is compatible with certain disabilities and things like that. So we ended up discarding those embryos. I felt okay discarding those embryos because they were high-level mosaics. I think I would have had a harder time if they were low-level mosaics. And we didn't talk to an embryologist. We could have, but they tell you specifically, where the errors are, and so the doctor knows a little bit, and there are certain markers that are just incompatible with life, and so the ones that we had were just incompatible with life. So it was a very strong, strong evidence that would not have worked. So we've only transferred euploid embryos at this time in our journey, and so we tested for our second egg retrieval as well as our third egg retrieval, and honestly we had amazing results. I was so happy, especially after the first egg retrieval where we didn't get any embryos at all, not even to test. So I was extremely happy that we got any at all, and I feel like we've been really blessed, obviously very grateful. And so previously I really wanted to test them because I wanted to be pregnant as soon as possible, and I had already had a miscarriage previously in my life when I was younger. When I wasn't with my husband, I was with a different partner, and I got pregnant on accident, which is so crazy to think about now. But I did end up miscarrying that pregnancy at 10 weeks. It was extremely traumatic for me, and if I could avoid that, I would do everything to avoid that. So I definitely wanted to test, and especially because we had been dealing with infertility for so long, I really wanted to be reassured that every test that we could do, we've done to make sure that it would end up in a happy, healthy baby. And so that's what we did. And now we do have a happy, healthy baby. Like, it's amazing. But moving forward, so we only have, if we used all the embryos we have, if we transferred them and none of them worked, we would only do one more egg retrieval. So that's what me and my husband have decided. Like, we have one more egg retrieval in us, and then what we get is what we get. We'll transfer those, and then we'll be done. And we already have our son, so we have a lot more than a lot of other people, and it's just everything that we get asked for. So those are the limits that we've created for our family. And if we did another egg retrieval, I wouldn't test them because I'm not necessarily in a hurry. And there's some debate, like I said before, on whether or not the testing could be not inaccurate, but of course, I believe it has like a 98% accuracy rate, so there's still like the 2%. And also, they're testing the part of the embryo, the outside, that becomes the placenta, not the inside that becomes the baby. So there is some debate about that as well. So for the next egg retrieval, I would just get the embryos we get and just transfer them all and not test them. And also, testing is very, very expensive. And like I said, a lot of insurances don't cover it. Our insurance doesn't cover it. We're very lucky that insurance does cover some IVF for us, which a lot of insurances don't. So, we're very lucky in that as well. But it does not cover the PGTA testing, which is extremely expensive. So I wouldn't do it again because it's kind of like we already have a baby. And so, if I suffer a loss because we transfer an embryo that is incompatible with life, it would be extremely sad and very hard. Of course, a loss is always difficult, but I think I would be able to move on from it easier and then be able to try again. And so, yeah, so that's what I had to say about PGA testing with our family. I think it's great. I love PGA testing. It gave me a lot of peace of mind and helped me avoid some losses for sure. Well, maybe not for sure, because like sometimes the embryo just doesn't take it all. So you could either have a loss or it could just not take. But you know, it just really helped us for sure. We're going through IVF, and it's a very personal choice. You know, it's up to everybody, and it's a big financial choice as well because it's so expensive. It's very inhibitive to a lot of people. We were lucky enough to be able to afford to do it, and yeah, I think it was like really what we needed at the time. But moving forward, I wouldn't do it again, just because our situation has changed, and I am not a doctor. Yeah, just warning. You know, these are all just like my opinions and things that I've looked up myself. And I encourage you to really look into PGTA testing because there is a lot to learn, and decide what's best for you and your family. All right, well, I'll see you